Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
And now, the A-Plus League.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome into the A-Plus Sports League podcast, Week 8 NFL betting preview. Today we're going to talk game by game and pick each team against the spread. We're going to talk about our A-Plus matchups of the week and eventually get into some survivor picks for Week 8. With me, as always, Matt Libinati and Nick Cometta. What's happening, guys?
Not a whole lot. Just getting ready for another fun week of the NFL.
We got a big matchup tonight. Make or break it for the Atlanta Falcons. And we hope they make it, as in lose again, so they can go and actually get a top 5 pick for once instead of mediocrely getting a 15.
You don't want the run that they went on last year? The Dan Quinn run?
The save his job only to lose it again this year. Yeah, let's just get it going into the next picks, right?
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Very excited for the week. I think there's going to be some fun matchups this week. I'm really excited. We got some rookie quarterbacks making their debuts, a couple of strong division matchups, and a couple of COVID issues that we're going to have to tackle today, and a big revenge game for a certain running back. So let's just get right into it.
This is me, all right? I'm not a fucking athlete. This is my fucking way. This is how I win.
All right. This week, the teams on bye are the Washington Footballs, Houston Texans, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Is that what we're calling them now? Is the Washington Footballs? Or
Well, what else are you going to call them? First up, we've got the Thursday night game. Falcons and Panthers.
I guess as the resident Falcons fan, I'll
lead it off?
Start this one off. We're doing just against the spread right now, or we're just talking about the matchup? Here we go.
Well, just give us your synopsis on the matchup.
All right, I'm going to take Carolina -1. I actually had Atlanta, then I was like, what am I doing? Let's go Carolina -1. I actually just got a text from my brother. Carolina's going with the All Blacks with the nice little blue for their blackout game on Thursday night.
Ooh.
They look fantastic. Can't put enough onto that. Everyone picks based on the color of what they're wearing. I'm going to go Carolina -1. I think it's crazy that the Falcons, the way they've been blowing leads. I did see that some people are maybe switching. I think, Matt, I thought you said you were going to go with the Falcons earlier today, but a little bit of facts. Falcons are 16-9 under Ryan against Carolina in his career. Have never lost both games within the same season since 2013, where they went 4-12.
Wow.
Little do they know that they probably are going to go 4-12 this year. So go with the Carolina Panthers this week, and hopefully the Falcons just end up going down and losing this one again.
Yeah, I mean, this line's moved over the week from it was 2.5 for the Panthers at the start of the week, so it's creeping down closer to a pick'em. And I do lean Carolina here, but honestly, what I'm more interested in is the under. The under shot up from the start of the week. I think it started around 46, and Carolina just doesn't hit 51. Their defense is a hell of a lot better than I expected, and they've literally only hit 51 once this year. I think it was against the Cardinals, and it was at 51. So I'm going to take, even though Matty Ice and them have actually shown some signs of life on offense, I'm going to stick with the under here on this one.
Interesting takes. I'm surprised Nick Cometta, of all people, taking the Panthers against his Atlanta Falcons. So here's my take on it. You just thought the Falcons couldn't lose a game any worse than they already have this year. You really didn't. And then Todd Gurley just, I didn't mean to go into the end zone. Falls down on the 1-yard line and just happens to score.
I'm gonna step in here.
Okay, hang on.
They have lost a game worse when they didn't even decide to pick off an onside kick and just let Dallas pick that. That is by far. This one, we've seen a player go into the end zone prematurely instead of kicking the field goal.
But
we've seen this.
Hang on. But they had the game in hand. All they had to do was get the first down, they'd kick a field goal, and they would have won that
Do you know why they didn't? Because Gurley has incentives in his contract based on how many touchdowns he gets.
You know that's all well and good, but it's still heartbreaking.
I kind of have him in a couple fantasy leagues. So I didn't mind it. It worked out the best way last week. Falcons lose. I get the fantasy points, and the Falcons go further and further down up in the draft to get that pick that they need to get someone on the defense so they can actually stop someone.
All right, so I'm going to get into that because the defense has actually been playing a lot better. And they haven't been playing good. They're definitely not good. But they've only been giving up 23 points a game over their last 3 games. They're showing signs of life. I think they're realizing the desperation of the situation, and they're not trying to play as soft as they were in the beginning of the year. Hang on. So hang on.
So they played the North.
Well, okay, but that's fine. That's fine. But they gave up 30 to the Bears, so they have Julio Jones back on the offense, but they're still struggling. Matt Ryan is struggling. I thought Todd Gurley was going to be a turd this year. He's been doing a lot better than I thought. And honestly, it's the passing game that's been a struggle. Julio Jones is getting better, getting healthier, but I think that Matt Ryan really needs to carry this offense a little bit more than he has been. The Panthers, on the other hand, Teddy Bridgewater has been looking great. He kind of started showing signs of coming back to earth last week, and I'm not a big Teddy fan, to be honest, and the fact that they still don't have CMC tonight, their starting left tackle, Russell Okung, is not going to be playing tonight. Atlanta's getting a little healthier. The only person they got out on the defense tonight is McKinley.
Tack. Sounds like you're going Atlanta.
Atlanta, over the last 3 weeks, is 6th in third down conversion rate on offense, while Carolina is 31st in third down defense. I am taking the Atlanta Falcons here. I got it at +3 earlier in the week. I'm going to take it at +1 here. I don't care. I really think that they just won't let another dramatic loss happen to them. This is a division game. This is Thursday night football. They're going to be prepared. I think Julio's going to have a big game. I think Calvin Ridley's going to have a big game. And I think that they're just not going to
This is where the
struggle.
Falcons go ahead and break my heart, and they go on this run. I know it. They have a tough end of the year schedule. They're going to win a few here, ruin everything. So, hey, it's a 50-50 toss-up.
My only other point against the Falcons is that I typically like to take the better team when it's on short rest like this, and I don't think at the beginning of the year it would have been easily the Falcons. I don't think there's any argument that the Panthers are the better team at this point.
I think there is. I think the defenses are just as bad. Carolina's just marginally better. And if you go offense toe-to-toe, give me Atlanta. I mean, with CMC, it's a different story, but without him, Mike Davis looked like a turd last week. But yeah, I think those are our picks. Let's jump into Nick Cometta's Thursday night prop of the week here.
The key to victory is anticipation, the ability to see the future and react to it. Now that is what I do, and that is the truth.
Yeah, we're going to go with two prop bets. And I'm going to do some explanations beforehand on why I'm going to go with these bets. Julio Jones, over-under on receiving yards at 77.5. His catches is at 6.5. A little tidbit, Carolina hates Julio Jones. They don't want him to get the ball at all. They double him all the time. I've watched almost every game since 2016 when he put up 300 yards against them in one game. He has not had 7 catches or more since that game. They've doubled him every time, and he's only had 3 over 100-yard games against Carolina. I'm going to say don't even worry about Julio Jones. We're going to go Calvin Ridley, hammer him, over 5.5 catches, over 0.5 touchdowns anytime. The 5.5 catches is met -125. The anytime touchdown is at 110. In his career, Calvin Ridley has scored 4 out of 5 games a touchdown against Carolina. He's going to go off tonight. Everyone knows that he has a recession after the big booming start that he had. He slowed down a little bit the last 2 games. They're going to go back to him. He's going to get a touchdown, over 5.5 catches. Those are your locks tonight.
So you're doubling down, fading Julio, and going with Ridley.
Absolutely.
He's hedging his happiness. He has Julio in every fantasy league. He just He doesn't want to be burned both ways.
This is
Get it?
100% what's going to happen. And that Julio Jones has had back-to-back good games. I always think that Julio Jones is going to put up the good points. But tonight, Calvin Ridley is the strong pick. And a little sprinkle action, as one may say. Mike Davis, over 5.5 catches, minus 115. 9 for 60, 9 catches for 60 yards. Last time they played it 3 weeks ago, people have kind of forgot about Mike Davis. Falcons are going to blitz the hell out of Carolina tonight. I have a feeling with Tack out, they're going to need the extra help to get to Teddy Bridgewater and stop this offense. They're going to rush. They're going to go a little dinks down to Mike Davis. He's going to get over 5.5 catches. Sprinkle action.
So I actually really love that. When I was first trying to come up with a prop tonight to come talk to you about, it was Calvin Ridley anytime touchdown. That was the number I saw, plus 110. The way that he has been playing this year and the way the Carolina cornerbacks have been, I mean, I think he's just going to torch them. And Matt Ryan loves to go to him in the red zone, unlike Julio Jones. So I think it's a good prop. So I'm with you on that one. And then, yeah, I mean, the way that Atlanta is just going to be pounding Carolina, they're going to have to do check downs to Mike Davis all night. I like that one too. So,
as much as Matt says it, I kind of love the over. I think it's a shootout tonight. I think we're going to get a lot of points. Fantasy players, fantasy owners dream about this night. Falcons, Julio Jones, Todd Gurley, Calvin Ridley, Mike Davis, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Bridgewater.
Oh, shit.
Take the over.
The offensive line.
Take them over. Overs across the board, but I'll give you the one that I feel most confident about, or the two, is Calvin Ridley catches and touchdown.
So the score tonight's going to be 10-9.
Yeah, pretty much. Guaranteed.
We'll wait and see. We could edit.
All right. That should be exciting one tonight. Let's move on to the Sunday slate. The first game we're going to talk about, Minnesota at Green Bay. The spread is -7. Over-under set at 51. Vikes coming off a bye, playing the last few games, low-level competition, and it's been interesting. They lost to the Falcons. They are the one team this year that has lost to the Atlanta Falcons. They're going to get Dalvin Cook back. Jefferson looks to be a big part of the offense now. But that Vikings defense is so bad. I mean, it really is. Packers have Devontae Adams back now. They looked like they were just rolling last week. The defense is questionable. They have a hard time stopping the run, so I think Dalvin Cook's going to get his. But, I mean, as a passing defense, I think Kirk Cousins is going to struggle, and I'm taking the Packers -7.
I am too. I mean, it's good for the Packers that it looks like they're getting David Bakhtiari back this week. We're going to have to wait and see on Aaron Jones. He didn't practice Thursday today. One thing I'm kind of interested on in this game is whether the Packers' only really good corner, Jair Alexander, if they're going to throw him on Thielen or Justin Jefferson. Because like you mentioned, Jefferson is a big part of this offense now. And that's just going to be a matchup to watch. That's why I'm not really liking – we haven't even seen the props for any of these Sunday games yet for player props, but it's why I'm steering away from either of them at this point.
I am also going to go
So who's your pick? Sorry.
Packers.
Oh.
I figured that Packers across the board. Take Devontae Adams, any prop bet they have. It's not high enough. I know it's going to come out. He's
What if it's 110 receiving yards?
over.
So no, the only
Catches
reason
over, touchdown over, yards over. You can't bet it enough. The Vikings defense is trash. They couldn't even cover anyone on the Falcons. Imagine Devontae Adams with that Rodgers connection. They were doubling him last week against Houston, and he went off for 14 for 156 on double coverage.
196.
just watch out because it looks like there's going to be winds at 25 miles an hour.
I was talking about the week 1 against Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Devontae
He did go
Adams
off.
went for 14 for 156.
The other game he went off.
Yeah, the other game.
Pay attention to the weather there. If it's going to be low 30s and we are going to have huge gusts of wind, it's going to be either Jamal Williams or Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook show. I just don't see him throwing a hell of a lot if it is going to be 25-mile-an-hour winds and 30 degrees out.
Have you seen that Rodgers ball? He fucking zips that thing.
He lives in limbo.
Yeah. No, that man looks great. And to Matt's point, I think Jair Alexander is going to shut down whoever he's on, whether it's Jefferson or Thielen, and then just double team the other guy.
Yep.
I mean, just double team one side of the field, put Alexander on the other one, let Dalvin Cook beat you. Which, I mean, it might work. The Packers' run defense is not good. It is not good at all. But
I'm surprised it's only 7. I think they're cutting in coming off the bye too much. Week 1, I guess they're saying since no preseason. I mean, Packers won by 9 in Minnesota week 1, and that was after a fourth quarter where the Vikings scored 24. So they were getting blown out. They made a comeback.
Yeah.
I think the Packers blow this game out, win by at least double digits.
So honestly, all of us talking about it, I think the under might be the play.
The only thing that scares me with the under here is that it opened up at 56 at the start of the week, and it's down to 51. So
people are realizing it. Yeah.
With the weather, too, that's been a big part of it. And it's just, have you lost all value? If you took the under 3 days ago, I love it.
I could definitely see you losing value, but at the same time, I still see value in this number. The only way I think this hits is if Green Bay gets up a shit ton. They just kind of throw in some backups. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Dalvin Cook's getting 10 yards a carry. And it's like, all right, backdoor cover that way. But if this is a competitive game to any extent, or at least like maybe just a one-possession game, I don't see it really going over. And Minnesota might just have trouble scoring. All right, on to the next game. Woo, we got another matchup for someone in the house here. We got the Tennessee Titans at the Cincinnati Bengals. Spread is +5.5 for the Cincinnati Bengals. Over/under is set at 53.5. I'll let you kick this one off, Libs.
So, I mean, as a true homer, I'm clearly taking the Bengals money line.
Having a 37-year-old.
We're on to Cincinnati.
No, I'm going Titans easily to cover. I saw this open up at 4.5, and I was shocked. I took it immediately where I could. It looks like Joe Mixon's going to be out again. He hasn't practiced as of yet through Thursday. It was another heartbreaking loss last week where, I mean, Joe Burrow looked great. Defense looked terrible as always. So the Titans showed signs of life against the Steelers late in the game last week, and I think they're still going to easily cover this.
Can I say one thing? I'm not trying to justify the Falcons, but I mean that
wasn't a pointed shot.
That Bengals loss was maybe a little bit worse than what the Falcons did. Anyone?
Against the Cowboys or
against the Browns last week?
No, I know, but I'm talking Falcons-Cowboys, which was worse.
No, I'm talking about Falcons against the.
I mean, that was a pretty brutal loss at the very end of the game. I mean,
that's what I want to see.
Fuck Cody Parkey, he's still dead to me. But I mean, the thing I like about what the Bengals did there, though, is they were down before Baker made that run. Like, Bengals came down and scored. There's just too much time on the clock left.
Yep.
And you don't want that defense out there.
Yep.
So I like Joe Burrow in the fourth quarter making strong drives. The offense has so many weapons on it, and they look good, even though the offensive line is a little shaky.
A little.
But the defense has really just been letting them down. So
yeah, I think Tennessee's defense is got a little bit of a wake up call against Pittsburgh after they put up a bunch of points in the first half. I think then they shut them down pretty much almost the entire second half and made that a game. I think Tennessee's defense wakes up. I think Mike Vrabel gets them back on track, and Tennessee's going to rule easily on this one.
I hear you. So that I'm assuming you're Tennessee there. I'm also going to take Tennessee. We got a round of Tennessee here. You know, the thing that concerns me about Tennessee and the reason I picked against them last week was Taylor Lewan is such a big part of that offensive line. And they lost Jack Conklin in the offseason. Now they're down Lewan. Their tackles are they're not bad, but they're definitely below average. And the line's going to be scary. Thankfully, they're playing the Bengals, so that shouldn't be a problem here. I think Derrick Henry is too physical for this defense. He's going to run all over them. I think Tannehill's going to have a game. And, yeah, I think Mike Vrabel's going to get the defense up again.
Would you cut your dick off for a Super Bowl?
Oh, been married 20 years. Yeah, probably.
I think he's really going to fire him up to make sure that they rush Joe Burrow and try to keep him in the pocket, and I think they cover this one. I'm leaning the over on this. I think Tennessee's going to get up early, and then we're going to get a Cincinnati, a lot of garbage yards, a lot of garbage points, and this will jump right over.
I don't hate that. I mean, I could easily see it hitting over. I don't think that it's enough to backdoor cover if you're scared of Cincinnati coming back with garbage time, but
They've done it for me already this year.
I hear you.
All right. Anything else on that? Oh, Joe Mixon. Is he going to play?
It hasn't practiced yet.
Hasn't practiced yet, so I'm unlikely to play Joe Mixon. But, hey, that's good for my fantasy team, Gio Bernard.
Yeah.
All right. On to, I think, the primetime matchup of the week, and the one I'm excited for.
We can just skip this right through.
Hang on. Jets, Chiefs. This game I am jazzed up for. The Jets suck. They are the worst team in the league. There's no question about it. But they're looking better. I know it's a small sample, but they looked pretty good against the Buffalo Bills. The offense in the first half was really moving. Frank Gore was getting big rushes. P. Ryan was getting big rushes. Denzel Mims made his debut. He looked pretty good. Darnold looked like a competent NFL quarterback.
They get Crowder back.
And then in the second half, he had 4 passing yards and looked like the total fucking dog shit Sam Darnold that sees ghosts on the field. So it's definitely a team that has Jekyll and Hyde moments. And the Chiefs are obviously the best team in the league. They just beat the doors off the Broncos. But the biggest problem with the Chiefs, they give up 5.65 yards per rush. It's not good. Their pass defense isn't bad, but their run defense is atrocious. And as I said on the Tuesday show, Adam Gase will run that fucking ball all day. It doesn't matter if they're winning, losing, down 100. He will run that ball. The spread here, I guess I missed that part. The spread is 17. And I've seen it move to 19 to 20. Hasn't gotten to 21 yet, at least anywhere I've looked. I'm taking the Jets.
Oof.
I'm taking the Jets plus the points.
The bold play.
I might even bet it if it gets to 21. I'm probably not gonna bet it at 17, but for the purpose of the show, I will.
Do you think the Jets are better than the Patriots? No. Chiefs just beat the Patriots in a well-coached team in Kansas City by 16. So do you think the Jets can cover more than the Patriots?
Okay.
No.
But, I mean, you can go into that, but that game had Brian Hoyer fucking making very Sam Darnold-like moves, but just very terrible things. And then you bring Stidham in his first game of the year, and I think his third pass, he throws a fucking pick six that was right off of Julian Edelman's hands. So I get what you're saying, but, like, the Raiders have also beat the Chiefs. And I just think...
that's you're missing the key point. The Chiefs are at home. Chiefs low at home. They're going to go up big. This is easy. It should be 21-point spread. 17 is too little.
At 17, I'm laying the points. That's all I have to say about that. The Jets are not worth watching. I'm sorry to any Jets fans.
Hey, had to do it. And this also brings up my big prop of the week that I am going to hammer. So this kind of contradicts my pick, but I don't care what the fucking number is. Le'Veon Bell anytime touchdown is the safest fucking prop bet of the year, I'm going to say. Because revenge game, they're going to get up big, which means they're not going to play Hilaire that much, and they're just going to put Bell in when they're up to shit on his old team. He might score 3 touchdowns. But the anytime touchdown, I haven't seen a line for it yet. I got to imagine it's at worst plus 100, and I think that's the easiest money in the world.
I wrote it down. I wrote a note.
What's the note?
Bell anytime touchdown. I kind of drew a little bit of a hammer by it.
Yeah, okay.
And I like
Smash.
that. I like that. I haven't heard it from you, but I like it.
No, and I mean, like Matt alluded to here, I think the Chiefs and Andy Reid are going to try to ingratiate themselves with Bell and give him, they know that he dislikes Adam Gase. They're going to give him every opportunity to get this touchdown. I love it.
Yeah, Andy Reid fully supports the revenge game. All right. Off of that one, our next game is the Indianapolis Colts at the Detroit Lions. The line is 2.5 points for the Detroit Lions. Over-under is at 50.5. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start this one off. I think this is going to be one of the close games. No one's going to care about the game, but it's going to be a very close game. The Lions, I don't know what to make of them. They look good. They look bad. They look good. They look even worse. I'm going to take Indianapolis coming off the bye, which is the big thing. I think Phillip Rivers is going to have a good game. I think they're going to pick apart that defense, similar to what the Falcons did in the first half. against the Lions last week, and I think Indy just has a good enough defense that they're going to easily cover that 2.5. I think they win by a touchdown here.
I tend to agree. I mean, last time we saw the Colts before the bye, they were up against my Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals can't really rush the passer, and the Lions are another team that just have not been getting home in the pass rush, and that's where Phillip Rivers thrives, as Bird so clearly knows well.
Was Rivers a part of one team before and not anymore?
His sweet prince. Just a quick aside. The next time we saw each other at work after Kobe died, I had said goodbye to your sweet prince, and I was talking about Phillip Rivers. Nick was sitting here thinking I was talking about Kobe, and was just like, "Oh my God, that was a little harsh." But
yeah, lost Kobe Bryant and Phillip Rivers in the same week. It really sucked. Thanks for bringing that up.
Tough for Lakers, Chargers,
Hey, guess what? The Lakers won the NBA championship.
with an asterisk.
The Dodgers won the MLB championship. It's a little early, but I'm just telling you, watch out for the LA
Rams.
No, honestly, I think the Chargers are going to have a nice little run. You guys are pretty surprised. We had the hard part of our schedule early in the year. I knew we were going to lose most of these games no matter what. We get the Jets, the Dolphins, the Jaguars, all these fucking shitty-ass teams.
We'll talk about your Chargers.
Woo!
What do you got?
Okay.
Indy, Detroit.
Okay, Indy, Detroit. As Matt mentioned, I know Phillip Rivers well. He has a 5-10 record out of the bye, which is kind of shocking considering he's such a veteran that he would be so bad coming off of a bye. I don't know if it's because he gets to go tire himself out with his 9 fucking kids, but
or just he had bad coaching one of the
two. That could be it too. I mean,
Tire himself out with his wife.
There's some bad teams in there. Yeah, that's true. That's probably when he makes his kids. You got to think about it. Those 10 losses are the years he made his kids. He's got number 10 coming.
We can have Chris do the math and give us the information on that stat.
So the Colts are coming off a bye. I noticed that Darius Leonard is coming back off of injury. He's missed the last few games, and he is the captain of that defense. He is a vital part of that defense. I also saw that Michael Pittman practiced. He's coming off of IR, it seems like. So that'll help the offense a little bit. I mean, I know that receiving core has been kind of depleted. I'm hoping Phil got into a rhythm with T.Y. Hilton over the break. And, yeah, the offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts still ranks in the top 5 for offensive line for pass protection. Detroit cannot get a rush. That's why they went and traded for Everson Griffin. But unfortunately, he will not be in this game. He has to go through the COVID protocol, so we won't see him till next week. So I think Detroit's still going to have a problem rushing the passer. The offense has looked a little bit better. Indy has played bad competition, but the more and more I dug into this matchup pretty deep, and I think Indy is the play. I don't like taking, a road team against a home underdog. But Detroit's playing in a dome. Indy is a dome team. I think that plays to their advantage as well. Yeah, I think the Colts are a good bet this week.
Another tidbit brought it up. T.Y. Hilton, he's going to break his slump this week. Look for his prop bets.
They should break his thumb at first.
No, his slump. I like him to get a touchdown this week, as well as whatever his props. I want to take the over this week.
I just got to say, you guys have been on the exact same game all the way through so far.
There we go.
All right, on to the next game.
Too easy.
On to the next game. We have the LA Rams at the Miami Dolphins. The line is at 3.5 for Miami, and the over-under is at 46.
I'll go start. If Ryan Fitzpatrick is in this game, I'm taking the points with Miami. Since Tua's starting, I'm going to take the Rams. First game back against Jalen Ramsey. Aaron Donald, there's no way that guy doesn't shit his pants. Rams, plus I'm going to take the Rams outright in this game. Let alone
they're favored.
Oh.
Yeah, Miami's
I read the sheet wrong.
Miami's getting 3.5.
Oh. Well, I'm going to take the Rams.
It's moved up to 4 in most places at this point.
Yep. I'm going to take the Rams no matter
I'm still smashing the Rams. I mean, like we alluded to in the previous show, like Nick just mentioned, you're getting Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, this defense, which has quietly been one of, I think they're top 5 in DVOA, and they're up there in a lot of statistics as a defensive unit. And, with Herbert and Burrow both looking good and doing well as rookies, I just don't know that we're going to see the exact same thing out of week 1 with Tua. I think he'll be fine, but I'm smashing the Rams.
Yeah. So the thing that gets me about this game is that Tua played at Alabama, so he is used to the SEC where these massive defensive linemen are coming after him. And I know Aaron Donald is a completely different monster,
That's what I said.
I think he's going to be more prepared than a lot of people think. And I'm going with the Rams just to be upfront about it. But I'm nervous about it, to be honest, because the Rams are coming off of a short week. They just played the Bears on Monday Night Football. Now they got to go play a Dolphins team that just had a bye. The Dolphins have had 2 weeks to prepare for them. They've had plenty of time to do a lot of trick plays with Tua. The Rams have no film on Tua outside of college, which he hasn't played in over a year because he got hurt halfway through his senior year or his junior year. I'm taking the Rams, but I'm scared of the game. Honestly, I'm staying away from it. But for the purpose of the show, I'm gonna take the Rams here, laying the 3.5 points.
All right.
On to the next game. The New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. Spread is -3.5 for Buffalo. Over/under is at 42.5, which is the lowest over/under of the week right now. Since we put these numbers down, there's been news out that Julian Edelman is not going to be playing this week. He had surgery to his knee. N'Keal Harry also likely out this game. The spread has moved to 6.5. But for right here, we're at 3.5. Buffalo laying the points. I'll start. The New England offense has simply looked putrid. Cam looks like he was when Carolina when he was hurt. He doesn't look the same. For some reason, the Pats just haven't been running the ball the last few weeks. I know they've gotten down early, but that is their game plan. You need to run the ball. But I think it's partially the offensive line is hurt. And, I mean, people are just stacking the box. They know Cam's going to want to just run. Every time he drops back, it's either a ball into the ground or he's taken off with his legs, and he's just not as fast as he used to be. The Bills just had a tough game against the Jets, but I think in the long run, the defense showed up to play at the end. They're having trouble rushing the passer, but to be honest, I don't even think you need to rush the passer. They can just let White play against whatever receivers left. It's probably going to be Bird, which is a hilarious matchup to watch. And
Somebody named Bird.
Playing for the Patriots, I know, right? I think I'm going to take Buffalo here minus the 3.5. I think Buffalo says right in this game, we are the team to beat in the division. And if they win this game, I mean, the only team that's even striking distance at that point is Miami.
I get it. And I mean, this is another one to monitor the weather in. I mean, Buffalo obviously gets some terrible weather, and it looks like there might be some rain and 20-plus mile-an-hour gusts. You're seeing the over-under started at 46, 45. It's down to 41 in some places. I still think I might lean the under there with Edelman news and everything else. But I think that you got to go Buffalo here, laying the points. I'm taking them.
I am torn. You guys both say Buffalo, and as much as people say Buffalo, there's a part of me that sees that the New England Patriots have not lost 3 in a row since 2012. I know that was with Brady. I know that was with a different team. They have no wide receivers. They have no offense. They got one guy still, and that's Bill Belichick. With a week to practice with his whole team, you see him almost beat the Chiefs in the Chiefs stadium at Arrowhead with a great game plan. Still no one really playing in that game. They did have Harry and Edelman, but I still think that with this going up to 5.5 at 3.5, I don't know.
Who are you picking for the show?
I'm gonna cross out my pick of Buffalo.
Whoa!
With the New England.
All right, find something different.
I talked myself out of it. I just can't see New England losing 3 straight. If that happens, then hey, I'm the first time since in 8 years.
And that's a crazy stat since 2012. But another crazy stat is that Cam Newton literally didn't throw a single pass to the right side of the field last week against the Niners. All 15 and only 15 attempts were to the left. They can throw Tre'Davious White on the left side of the field. Cam Newton can't throw to the right with his. Apparently, he's messed something up in his shoulder because this was the same knock on him 2 years ago. And throw Tre'Davious White on the left side of the field and don't even worry about the right.
I think that Bill Belichick is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. I think he's baiting people.
You know, I think
I think they actually throw the deep ball more this weekend against any other game they've seen. I think they've been going to let him throw the ball. I think Cam's going to break open some.
So James White's lining up at receiver this week?
Hey, they're going to do some wheel outs.
He will.
Hey, Cam may even throw the ball to himself and run the ball. I think the New England Patriots do not lose. This is a statement game. I can see them not winning more games like this, but in an AFC East game like this in Buffalo, I think the Patriots pull it off. I think they get some defensive touchdowns. I think they do some trick plays. I think they pull some tricks out of the sleeves. Josh McDaniels with a little.
I hope you're wrong.
He is just talking himself.
I'm digging myself.
Like it. He's just
digging myself a hole.
He's just trying to find anything he can say to get him.
I'm getting into the bunker, and I'm in the trenches taking grenades. Let's go.
What about this? What if Bill Belichick is secretly tanking the season to get Trevor Lawrence?
They've already won 2 games, and so he's done himself a disservice, and I don't think tanking's in his nature. The smart move and the Belichick move would be to tank and get a quarterback.
Well, they won those games early. I think he saw one bad game out of Cam and was like...
Exactly, because they might have thought they had some sort of a chance with Cam at the beginning, and maybe you're right. Maybe now it's...
I mean, I've heard Gilmore's getting shopped. Like,
they
sold his house recently. Ooh.
All right, 2 weeks ago they were traded for Julio Jones, and they're going to look like the Patriots of old.
And now
this is not true. The Patriots will remind people this week.
It came out today that they're willing to trade anybody.
It's the New England Patriots. It's mind games.
You'd think one of us is a Pats fan here. We are not.
I have lived this life.
We all have.
You all have. Remind yourself. Next game.
Okay. Next game, we have the Las Vegas Raiders against the Cleveland Browns. Spread is Browns minus 2.5. Over under is 51.5.
Not to sound like a broken record, but this is the third and final game that you got to, if you're going to look at the over under, just keep an eye on the weather. Again, chance of gust of wind. You don't really care about anything under 15 miles an hour. They're talking about chance of up to 25. It opened at the over-under around 56. It's down to 51 in most places. I hate the Browns, and I don't think they're as good as people thought they were. I think that they're better than some people thought they were a couple weeks ago after a couple of bad games, but I'm still going with the Raiders here. Raiders these are both up and down teams, and
Raiders.
I think Las Vegas does it here.
I'm gonna make this quick and simple. Las Vegas. I think they have the weapons. They're looking good on the offense. Cleveland's defense is really worrying me, and I just don't think the Browns' offense is that good. Baker shows flashes, but he's gonna make some mistakes today against the Raiders' defense. I think the Raiders win easily.
The Raiders have played some tough teams lately.
Yeah.
They've had some tough games. I mean, they had the Bucs last week, Tom Brady. They had the Chiefs the week before that. They had to play the Pats in New England a couple weeks ago. They had to play the Saints on Monday Night Football. They've had a tough fucking schedule.
They beat 2 of them.
No, they did. They've beaten 2 of them, and they got their asses kicked on 2 of them. So they're a very up and down team. As soon as you're on them, they fucking disappoint you. And as soon as you're out on them, they fucking win a magical game. So the Raiders are a tough team to really evaluate. And I'm looking into the numbers. I see the Raiders ranked 28th in pressure rate. Cleveland's offensive line ranks 10th in adjusted sack rate, so they're good at protecting Baker, even though he's fucking rolling around like a moron back there. The Raiders do, however, rank 5th in third down efficiency, converting 50% of their attempts. Cleveland ranks 20th in that. And I don't know, both these teams like to put up points. I think it's going to come down to whose defense really wants to show up. I think the Raiders' offensive line, missing their star left tackle, might be an issue. Depends if they move Myles Garrett around back there. But Derek Carr, 13 touchdowns to 2 picks. And I said it on Tuesday, and I'll say it again. The fucking Cleveland Browns are dead to me. I will not pick their asses until I don't know. I'm on the Raiders. Let's go Las Vegas.
Do the Raiders have their offensive line back?
They have everyone but Trent Brown.
Then Raiders. They lost their entire offensive line. That's why they looked so bad against.
They all played last week. The only person that didn't play was Trent Brown.
Oh, they all ended up playing?
Yeah. But the Tampa Bay defensive line and linebackers are way better than what Cleveland has.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Myles Garrett's amazing. Cleveland has a strong defensive line, but it's not quite the same.
Well, Cleveland also has quietly a top 3 O-line in the league this year. And so that does concern me a little bit, but I'm still, like I said, leaning Raiders.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to get pressure on Baker, but I think it doesn't really matter. I think Baker's going to shoot himself in the fucking foot.
He's never done that before.
Yeah, and no Odell. I mean, all right, on to the next game. This might be the most exciting game of the week.
Yep.
My favorite one is definitely Kansas City and the Jets, but this next game here is probably the best divisional game that we're going to see this weekend. It's going to be a hard-fought game. It always is. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. The line is Baltimore minus 3.5. Over-unders at 46. I'm having trouble with this game, to be honest. I saw the line at 3.5. Immediately, I wanted to bet Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's undefeated. They've looked good. They've played good competition. They've had to deal with bye weeks getting shifted around because of COVID bullshit from the Titans. The offense looks good. The defense is missing Devin Bush, but they still look good. They can get a lot of pressure on teams. They have Minkah Fitzpatrick, who might be the best safety in the league. It's hard not to take Pittsburgh, but Baltimore's coming off of a bye. Baltimore are they the team we thought they were last year, or are they kind of a fraud? And I haven't seen them run as much this year, but Lamar's looking a little bit better. I'm taking Pittsburgh plus a 3.5.
I mean, you essentially said the exact same thing of what I was going. This game is hard to get a read on, and at the beginning of the year, obviously everyone would have said Baltimore should be favored by way more than 3.5 at home against Pittsburgh. But so that's what confuses me and is hard to pin down is the line at 3.5 because of what we thought Baltimore was at the beginning of the year compared to Pittsburgh, and now Pittsburgh's ahead of them in the division, undefeated, and has looked pretty damn good. That's part of what makes me lean Pittsburgh at plus 3.5 here, and the other big reason is just that they're getting pressure at a historic rate, and the Baltimore O-line has been quietly not great. They're ranked, I think, 23rd in run blocking and 26th in pass blocking. I'm surprised I haven't heard more about it, but that's why I'm going Pittsburgh.
That's fair. We got a little bit of a split here. I'm going to go with Baltimore. They're home. I think they're coming off the bye. And I want to see, as much as the Steelers have looked good, they played the Giants, they played the Broncos, they played the Texans, they played the Eagles, they played the Browns, and then the Titans, which was last weekend. It was a close game. I'm not really impressed. They haven't really made as much as I think the Browns win was maybe a statement game. It was in Pittsburgh, and I always thought the Browns were kind of a fraud. They haven't played anyone, and they don't even play anyone later on in the year.
But who's Baltimore beating?
The Steelers are going to play the Cowboys, Bengals, Jags, Ravens again, Washington, Bills, Bengals, Colts, Browns. I think they may run the table after that besides Baltimore again. And maybe the Colts and Bills. I don't see the Steelers being this good of a team, a 14-2, 15-1 team. I'm going to go Baltimore winning outright this game. I think Baltimore
they're favored by 3.5, so I hope they
with the 3.5 points. Baltimore's going to win this game. If it makes it better, by the point to get it down to 2.5. But I think they win this game by a little bit. I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to remind people why they were the favorite to win with the Chiefs to win the AFC last year. Ravens in this one.
So the thing about this line that scares me, it's like Vegas is just begging you to bet Pittsburgh. It's like, oh, we'll just throw that little hook on there. Of all the lines this week, every one of them has shifted a little bit. That Steelers-Ravens line hasn't moved an inch. I haven't seen it go to 3, 4, nothing. It's sat at that 3.5 mark because they know if they put it down at 3, people are going to hammer Baltimore. If they put it up to 4, people are going to hammer Pittsburgh. 3.5 is just enough to get a little bit of indecision. I still think a lot of people are going to bet Pittsburgh, and Baltimore might be the play, but I'm hoping Baltimore just wins by 3 and Pittsburgh covers the spread.
That probably is. Justin Tucker's probably going to hit like a 50-yard field goal right down the middle to win it. I can see it in my head but I'm going to take the Ravens with
These teams always play close.
They always play close.
Everyone in the division, yes, no, this will be a close game.
This is always a close game, year in, year out. Nick, what was the stat you found about the over-under, too? I think you found something earlier.
I think Matt said lean on the over, which was a little weird. Big Ben has played the Ravens 26 times in his career. The over 46 has hit 3 times against the Ravens. I know it's 2 different teams on Baltimore and the Ravens.
Joe Flacco.
I mean, he's elite, Super Bowl championship. But hey, that's the stats don't lie. When 3 times they've gone over 46 head-to-head against Pittsburgh, Baltimore, I don't think that over hits. I think it's a 21-24 game, 21-27, 26 game, something like that. So I don't think it'll hit that high over.
Okay, let's go to the next game. I'm actually going to skip over one real quick. Next game we're going to do is the New Orleans Saints at the Chicago Bears. The spread is Chicago plus 4.5. Over/under set at 43.5. Nick, you want to lead?
Yeah. Herbert looks great.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll skip that one.
Saints Bears. We'll go back to
skip
that
one over COVID.
Yeah.
This is an easy one. I don't know why it's not more than. I know New Orleans plays a lot of close games. Chicago's offense looks awful. I do not trust Nick Foles as much as everyone says he's Big Dick Nick. I like that saying. It relates to me. I can sympathize, relate to that. But New Orleans minus 4.5. I think with Michael Thomas back, it's going to be a blowout.
Sorry, I'm just
Is he back?
texting Shannon real quick to confirm something.
God.
I mean, I tend to agree here. I'm going with New Orleans as long as my one caveat is as long as Michael Thomas is playing. If Michael Thomas is there and he practiced today, it looks like he's going to be back. I'm going with New Orleans. I just think that they can put up at minimum 17 or 23 points, and I don't think the Bears are going to get up to 17, even though New Orleans defense was slated to be close to elite again this year, and they've looked anything but. I just don't trust the Bears. Matt Nagy, Nick Foles, I want nothing to do with them.
Well, they do have David Montgomery, I'll say, and Bill did trade him. Tyler Lockett. Just want to say that again this year,
Hammer at home
this week on the podcast. So you never know.
So I did write-ups for each one of these games over the last 2 days, and last night it was about almost 1 a.m. I was writing up some of these, and I got to this game, New Orleans and Chicago, and I just wrote New Orleans Saints good, Bears bad. The Bears didn't look good on Monday night. They've got a short week. The Rams just took it to them. The strong thing about what Matt Nagy tries to do is he tries to change up different blocking schemes and run patterns and jet sweeps, and he really tries to get gimmicky in the backfield. You can't do that against the Saints defensive line. They get a lot of pressure. I think they give the second fewest yards per game on the ground. So you're not going to be able to run against them. And I read a report today that Allen Robinson is in concussion protocol.
Yep.
If he doesn't play, there's no chance they move the ball through the air. He is constitutes probably half of their offense. I just think that New Orleans might blow the doors off of them. This is my A+ match of the week. I think New Orleans might win by double digits. I think this line is pathetic. And if they have Michael Thomas back, watch out. Just watch out.
No, I love that as a pick. And the Saints can rush the passer, and this Bears O-line has just been putrid. So I think that's a matchup that they're going to try to exploit. And Nick Foles, you saw what he did last week under pressure, and it wasn't good. So I don't think that changes.
All right. On to the next one. Next game we will talk about is San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are -3. Over/under is 54 points.
I like the Seattle Seahawks. I'm a big fan of Russell Wilson. I'm in love with that offense. I see that offense. They can put up points. I know San Fran's looked amazing the last 3 weeks. a 2. I just don't see them going into Seattle and making this a field goal game. I think it's a close one, but Seattle wins by probably 4 to 7 points.
I'm leaning Seattle as well. And if you took a look at this line last week, before the Monday night game of Seahawks and Cardinals, the advanced lines were coming in at -5.5, -6. Now that Seattle lost a game to a divisional opponent, I think that there's some recency bias of why the line has moved down to -3 from -6. So I'm definitely taking that value. I don't think that the Niners are going to be able to. This Seattle defense is not great, but I think that it's a lot better than what it looks at on paper. If you take out garbage time, and the Seattle defense is not that bad. They're not going to have Deebo Samuel this week. Yeah, they've got any running back can play well in this system, but I'm still taking Seattle.
We were all on Seattle last week. We all had them at -3. It was a close game. There was a lot of back and forth. Russell Wilson looked magical. He was hitting Tyler Lockett like crazy. He had trouble getting a DK Metcalf, but it's Patrick Peterson, so you understand that. But it didn't really matter. Russell Wilson is continuing to put up points week after week. San Fran looked really good last week against the Pats. And
real good.
The Pats defense isn't what it was last year, but they're still a top 10 defense in this league, just from a talent perspective and coaching perspective. And San Fran went across country into New England and fucking took it to them. And I think the fact that Jimmy G is back, he's feeling a lot healthier. George Kittle is the best tight end in the league, if you ask me. Fuck Travis Kelce. Sorry about it, but George Kittle can block, he can run, he's the centerpiece of that offense. They lost Deebo Samuel, but they still have Brandon Ayuk, who's doing great at receiver. And he's doing what Deebo Samuel did last year. They're using him on jet sweeps. They're using him in runs. He's getting downfield passes, short intermediate passes. Tevin Coleman might be back. Unlikely, but he could be back. I know Jeff Wilson's out, but they have McKinnon still. He got a week of rest last week. It wasn't an injury.
JaMychal Hasty.
They have JaMychal Hasty, too. They brought up off the practice squad, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
I like this Niners team. I like them just getting the points. Seattle's defense is fucking atrocious. We watched that Arizona game, and Kyler Murray was making stupid decisions, and he was still just gouging them. And, I mean, when Larry Fitzgerald at his age can just beat any one of your fucking cornerbacks, it's just laughable. Shaq Griffin, I don't think is going to play in this game. He had a concussion last week. He's a game-time decision, but that's still a big piece of what limited defensive players they do have. Give me the points.
His twin can play.
His twin can play. He had a good game.
Yeah, well, he can't play corner well. He has a nub of an arm.
Well, no, he played linebacker, but he was shadowing Kyler Murray, and he actually looked good. I thought they put him down on the practice squad. They must call him back up.
Yep. I think that I just want to point out Bird's homerism is showing here. Earlier, he's taken the Jets against the Chiefs. Now he's saying, fuck Travis Kelce. Kittle's way better. It's the Chargers' hatred. I
like the Chiefs. We'll get to it later. They're a team I'm going to be using in an important matchup, but the Jets game is just too many points. All right, we're going to circle back now. Push this game off. We have the LA Chargers at the Denver Broncos. Spread is Denver +3 at home. Over-under is at 44.5. The reason I kind of pushed this for a little bit is that this is the first of 2 possible COVID games. This game might get pushed back. A couple players on the Chargers got reported to have COVID today. They shut down the facility. People are practicing from home. I think it's going to be 2 more days of tests, and then on Saturday, I think the league's going to make a determination whether they have this game on Sunday or if they push it to Monday. The Chargers did not look great last week. They gave up a shit ton of points to Gardner Minshew. James Robinson looked like the next coming of Bo Jackson. We couldn't tackle anyone. They were getting deep balls on us. Not much pressure. But Justin Herbert, man, this guy has the dick that just reaches the ground from standing up. He is the man.
He's got the goods, dude.
He's looked good at reading short intermediate passes. He's looked good on the deep ball. He has had a great rushing ability. He actually set the record for the longest rush by a Chargers quarterback in a single game last week. And I think he's second most rushing yards in a game for a Chargers quarterback in the history of their franchise at 66 yards. He's mobile. He evades the rush. He is very cerebral for a kid who's that young. I think the Chargers will win this. I think they'll cover the spread. If the game happens, we'll see what happens with who's going to be out from this COVID-related news. We think we're getting our 2 Pro Bowl offensive linemen back this week, and Brian Bulaga and Trey Turner. I think that's going to be big for the offensive line.
That's a big help.
Yeah. I don't think I have to tell you how much I love the Chargers. Give me a -3 tonight this week.
I'm somehow taking the Chargers as a favorite again on the road, which does not feel good. As Matt just pointed out, they almost shit their pants. It looked like they were in the process of shitting their pants last week, and they pulled it out. I don't believe in Drew Lock. I don't believe in this team. The defense has already lost so many players. And yes, this is the one team that actually has a home field advantage with being up Mile High, but I'm still taking the Chargers.
As people keep on talking about the Chargers, how good they are, something tells me this may be a trap game. -3 on the road. I don't know if I like it. I do have the Chargers written down, but I may do a thing with the Pats and switch it. Broncos, I don't know what to make of this team. They go into New England and win. They played well home against the Titans. They only lost by 2 to the Titans at home. I just don't know if Herbert – I've seen too many Oregon games to trust Justin Herbert. And I know that he looks a lot different. He's throwing the short ball well, and he's getting the long completions. Maybe it's just a good wide receiver core in Los Angeles that is doing it, and a better offensive line. I'm going to go with the Chargers, but I just don't like this game. It just seems like maybe you can talk about it a little bit more, but
listen, I understand where you're coming from. I hate when the Chargers are laying points, especially to a division rival, especially in a tough place to play. That said, the Chargers finally got the monkey off their back. They got Justin Herbert his first win. He's 0-4. He had to play Pat Mahomes, to play Drew Brees, Tom Brady. He goes. It wasn't a good win, but they got his first win
against the Jets.
Jags.
Well, he got the first win against the Jets.
What are you talking about?
They played the Jets. Oh, I'm sorry, the Broncos.
Yeah. The fact that Herbert continues to impress with the deep ball while avoiding the pass rush is a dynamic that this team has never seen. Phillip Rivers used to be a statue in that fucking pocket. And it's hard not to love because the biggest problem with the Chargers offense is their offensive line. And if he can negate that by just rolling out and finding the open man, it's a game changer. And it's really hard not to be amazed with how accurate he is on these deep balls. It's not like he's hitting Mike Williams and Mike Williams is going up to get these contested catches. That happened against the Saints. But he's hitting Jalen Guyton. He's hitting Daniel Parham, who was an XFL player. He's hitting guys off the practice squad. It really is incredible. And, I mean, he's showing signs of bravery in the pocket, just standing there taking hits that Phillip Rivers used to show. But, I mean, it's incredible how mature his game is. And I'm expecting for the shoe to drop eventually, but I don't think it's this week.
They won against the Bengals earlier this week. Yeah.
Yes, and that was Herbert, but that was Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
So this was Herbert's first win. Yeah.
Both Burrow and Herbert against the Jags. So
we'll go in the Chargers. We'll go on to the next one.
Okay. All right, on to the Sunday night football game. We have the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. The spread right now is Eagles -8.5. Over-under is 43. I've seen this line already move to 10 in certain spots. Andy Dalton is very questionable to play. He got a concussion or was at least in the concussion protocol this week. And if he doesn't go, that means D1 AA star Ben DiNucci will make his debut as a starter. The James Madison product has 3 passing attempts under his belt. He was a 7th-round draft pick this year. McCarthy said he looks like Mark Bulger, reminds him of Mark Bulger. I mean, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
I was going to ask.
Weird one.
He's going to have to play like Prime Bulger to overcome all the deficiencies this team has. Their offensive line is down their 2 best players. The defense, well, they've lost a few, but definitely
more than 2.
Definitely their 2 best. The defensive line just traded Everson Griffin away. They just cut Terry Poe. As it was, they were already bad enough. I mean, I see in no world that Dallas can win this game. Carson Wentz has looked a lot better. Philly's coming off of a longer week because they played on Thursday. I mean, this is a big division game. This division is wide open, and I think Carson Wentz realizes that this is a time to seize, and he wins this game. Covers the spread.
Wide open.
I think he covers the spread. I don't think Dallas can compete with him.
Division is wide open for the first team to get to 5 wins.
It's a terrible division, but guess what? Philly's in the lead right now.
No, and I think that they're going to win with it. I thought, honestly, that if the O-line could provide enough for the Cowboys, that Andy Dalton would lead this team to a division title. Clearly, that's not been the case. He is definitely a quarterback that kind of needs everything right around him in order to do well, as we saw in 2015 and 16. But, I mean, don't worry. The Cowboys are going to be Gucci. They got DiNucci. And I'm still taking Philly in the points.
Philly in the points.
Philly laying 8.5. Nick?
I just don't trust a Philly offense that has Fulgham and who?
It just got announced. I actually meant to say this, that Jalen Reagor is going to play Sunday. So if they get their rookie receiver back, and you're right, because it's been Fulgham, Goddard's out, Ertz is out, Djax is out, Miles Sanders is out, but at least they're getting one piece back now.
So they have 2 pieces. I think they win the game.
I think you're sleeping on Boston Scott here.
I just don't. I think after the last week, I think Dallas has enough weapons to put up points. 8.5 is a lot. If it gets to 10.5, like you said, I probably wouldn't take Philly, but I'm taking Philly in the points. 5.
There we go.
5.
All of us.
It's Ben DiNucci, guys. I mean, if Dalton plays, this is a completely different game. I advise you to then maybe consider Dallas at this number, or if the line shifts, maybe you can get Philly at a better number. But with Ben DiNucci playing,
yeah, it's not.
I'm willing to take a risk on Philly's defensive line just wreaking havoc and making this kid's life a fucking nightmare. So, round of Philly for us there. I mean, we got a lot of consensus pick, guys. On to the Monday night game. This is the second game that we have some COVID issues. The Giants just found out that one of their offensive linemen tested positive for COVID. The rest of the offensive linemen went home, similar fashion to what the Raiders did last week. They, again, will probably test on Saturday to determine if this game is being played Monday or if they will push it back to Tuesday. Tampa Bay at the New York Giants. Spread is Giants plus 10.5. That was the line before the COVID news. It might change, but for all intents and purposes, we'll use 10.5 as the line. Over under 45.5. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm still going Tampa here with how great they've looked with Gronk coming back. Godwin's going to be out this week, which hurts, and Mike Evans is clearly hurt and not himself. But I still think they've got enough quote-unquote weapons in the likes of Scotty Miller, Gronk, Fournette, Shady, Rojo. I think that they cover 10.5 here against a Giants team that just, I mean, has not looked good at all.
They have not looked good. Tampa Bay I'm taking as well. They look phenomenal. I mean, Tom Brady doesn't have weapons in New England, and he still looks good. Now he has weapons. He has the chemistry. He's clicking with a lot of these guys that have come in with Tampa Bay that we haven't even heard of. We thought it was going to be the Godwin Evans show, and they haven't really done anything this year. I know injuries have been a big part, and Evans has about 25 one-yard touchdowns. But I like Tampa Bay. They have too much depth. Their defense is what really impresses me, and that's why I would take Tampa Bay.
One of the top defenses in the league. And against this offense, I just don't think the Giants are going to be able to put up much. I don't care who's out on offense for Brady. That's why I'm willing to lay the points.
Tampa Bay. I mean, I think you guys said a lot of it. Brady's played with worse. I mean, you could put the fucking water boy out there. He'll hit him. The running game has been incredibly impressive. Ronald Jones has looked amazing. Leonard Fournette is rotating in there. They actually have the number 1 ranked offensive line in pass protection, number 12th in the run game. The Giants, while the defenses look pretty good this year, they've actually had some good matchups on defense. The offense is putrid. Daniel Jones is literally falling over himself when he's trying to score a touchdown. I would stay away from the Giants, stay far, far away. I'm going to take Tampa, and I think, if this line gets out of hand because of the COVID, maybe reevaluate the situation, but this is just seems too easy. So I mentioned as we were going through this that New Orleans is my A-plus matchup of the week. What do you guys consider your A-plus lockdown matchup of the week that you would hammer as a bet?
I'm going against the Bengals, baby. Titans minus 5.5. Like I said, I got it at 4.5 earlier in the week. I don't think there's any way that we cover here. I think the Bengals lose by more than a touchdown.
Tennessee for Libs, New Orleans for me. Nick?
I'm going to take Tampa. I would actually go with New Orleans as well, but to be a little bit different, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay at the Giants, just to spice it up a little bit.
10.5. This line, hypothetically, this line gets to 14. Do you still take Tampa here?
I'm going to switch it to New Orleans if it does.
No, but I'm saying, would you still take Tampa or would you take New York Giants?
No, I'd probably still pick Tampa.
Still take just trying to illustrate a confidence level here. All right. And that's it for the Week 8 picks. We'll see where we are. I mean, obviously we haven't been making picks all season, but we'll compare the season-long records are between all of us. Let's quickly move over to Survivor picks for the week.
You play to win the game.
We are all in a Survivor pool together. It's Week 8. We've all survived to this point. Come Week 10, we all have to start picking 2 teams. It's a tough contest, and I think the short list of candidates this week for a good Survivor pick would be Kansas City at the Jets, Tampa Bay at the Giants, as we discussed, Tennessee at Cincinnati, Philadelphia hosting the Dallas Cowboys, and the Green Bay Packers hosting Minnesota. I even see here that someone wrote Rams as a sleeper against Miami. I have already taken the Rams, so that is not an option for me.
And Rams wouldn't be a first choice. I've already taken a lot of these teams, but Rams are if you're desperate and you don't want to give up a Kansas City this early. I threw that in there.
A lot of people are going off of Kansas City. I saw them percentage-wise around like 50% pick them to start. Now they're only at 30%, and Tampa Bay at 34% is now the favorite, I think, of most people picking. I think, obviously, Kansas City's a lock. You got Green Bay also is another one. I know it's divisional, but they're in Lambeau. Green Bay's looked amazing. I would stay consistent with Tampa Bay, though, in Kansas City. There's no long pick there.
And I'm also staying consistent by taking the Tennessee Titans, and this just means because I'm making the Titans my A-plus lock, I'm taking them in both my Survivor pools, that clearly the Bengals will fuck something up and actually win a game and just make...
He's hedging his happiness.
No, because I'm not going to be happy either. If they win, then I'm not happy. This isn't hedging happiness.
Well, you're happy one way or the other.
No, I don't want them to win. And then I'm out of my Survivor pools. We get a worse pick. I truly don't want them to win. Wow.
Guy calls himself a Bengals fan.
Yes, a fan that wants their team to get better. I was actually rooting for the
I'm with you guys. Hey, that was me last year. I get it. You the higher the draft pick, the better. But I really like Tennessee this week. I'm looking ahead at their schedule, and I noticed that there's really not that many great matchups. You can take them again. I mean, Jacksonville in Week 14, if you make it that far. Tennessee just came off of a loss to Pittsburgh, so you know they're fucking motivated. They just lost their perfect season. I think they're going to be a good one. My second choice there, if you have them, is Tampa Bay. I've already used them this year, but this Giants game, as Nick has pointed out, is a fucking lock. In one of my Survivor pools, I am taking Kansas City. I know a lot of people are saving them, but guess what, guys? If you don't make it to Week 15, doesn't fucking matter if you save Kansas City for that. So use them if you feel like you need to. Some of these matchups are a little crazy. In my league, I know if you pick Tampa and the game doesn't happen, you fucking lose anyway. So
that is true. And then we have a two pick'em league after Week 10. That's why if you're in a 1-team Survivor pool, Kansas City, ride the Jets. They're going to go 0-16. Just ride them. I want to ask you guys, would you pick Philly?
I have them in the second chance pool.
You have them in a second chance pool. They do play Dallas again, Week 16. They do play Washington, Week 17. They have some. And I think that if I get that far in any league, in a 2-pick'em league, after Week 10 or whatever week it is, then I'm going to make that list then. But for now, I don't know if I'm going to make that list now.
Well, in that second chance, we have to start picking 2 teams starting this week. And so I also have Philly along with the Titans just to...
The way I look at it is it's so hard to predict where a team's going to be even 5 weeks from now.
Yep.
And, I mean, a lot of people right now would have thought... I mean, originally I had Dallas this week and next week as like some of the easiest picks in the league. But obviously their team is on a third string quarterback, and I think you never know what Washington might be down the road. They might have Alex Smith back. They might have Dwayne Haskins back. He might look good. Who knows? Dallas might have Andy Dalton firing on all cylinders next time these guys play. Right now, I think that Eagles are on a long week. They've had a lot of rest to prepare for Dallas. They've got a rookie quarterback, James Madison, D1 AA quarterback, who's never fucking started a game, playing in this game with no offensive line against a scary Philly line. Philly's at home. I want to take Philly in the regular pool. I am not that confident in them, but I'm definitely taking my second chance, and I don't shame anyone for doing the same.
Perfect.
All right. Oh, you know what we never got to early in the show today? Your trivia questions.
Trivia.
Yeah, so let's move on from Survivor. Let's go to trivia.
We'll switch it up. We talked a lot of football. We say this is a football podcast, but the World Series just ended.
Ooh.
So I want to throw in a little baseball trivia.
Baseball, okay.
I am big into trivia. I'm going to start off with this first one being Cody Bellinger just won the World Series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Him and his dad both won a World Series, making it the 8th father-son duo to both father and son to win a World Series. Do you know where his dad won the World Series and what team? Which team did he win? And it's Cody Bellinger's dad is Clay Bellinger. Where did he win the World Series? And which team?
Ooh.
Time frame. I'm gonna say which years to give you a little bit of a hint. Which years?
If I had to take a stab at
You're asking me the years of the team.
Well,
he's asking for the team, but if I get where you're going with if I had to take a stab at the years, I don't know much about Clay Bellinger, and I do love my '90s baseball, but with how old Cody Bellinger is, I want to say it's like late '90s that his father won.
New York Yankees.
What is your guess? Late '90s would be
late '90s would be the Yankees.
You are correct, and it wasn't even. No! It was '99 and 2000. He was the left fielder for the Yankees. So I was trying to say years. They won multiple ones. He was a starter.
He did there.
He was a starter in the Subway Series in 2000. 99. He played about like.
I was leaning earlier, and I was like, no, Matt's right. It's definitely got to be like late '90s, and I got a great guess. I mean, like it's. Yankees and Marlins took like 6 out of 8, I think. Yeah. So
Yankees were all over there in the 2000, but I don't know if you want to do 2001 Diamondbacks, maybe they squeeze it, or maybe
I knew that team. I knew it was Diamondbacks,
but the Marlins as well. So that's not switching to another stat. WAR has been one of the biggest indicators of how good a player is. Recently, Baseball Reference stats have backdated WAR all the way back to the history of baseball time. Would you able to tell me who has the highest WAR over their entire career?
If it truly is backdated, I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be one of the Gehrig's, Mantles, Ruths. I truly have no idea with this. I think I threw out a guess earlier that, again, I'm just going back to my love of 90s baseball, but it wouldn't shock me if it's a guy like Chipper Jones or somebody like that, but I'm kind of clueless on this one.
No, it's 1,000% an older player. I almost want to think like Cy Young. Guy threw like fucking 300.
That's why I'm thinking Babe Ruth because of hitting and batting.
Yeah, but when he was a pitcher, when Babe Ruth was a pitcher, he didn't bat, and when he was a batter, he didn't pitch. Like it was a straight shift. So the years that he was pitching, he was good. He didn't have that double dip Shohei Ohtani situation where he was pitching and hitting. It could easily be Babe Ruth, but
need some final guesses from you guys.
Cy Young.
Cy Young. Chipper Jones?
No.
Where are we going?
Sandy Koufax.
Sandy Koufax. Should have went with Babe Ruth because he is at 182.5 career WAR. Second, a pitcher I've never even heard of, Walter Johnson, way back.
Oh, Walter Johnson. White Shoes? A great pitcher.
White Shoes?
Obviously, great pitcher. You saw him back in the 30s and 20s, whatever. Didn't know him.
He was the fastest pitcher in baseball at his time.
Yeah. And he was so Babe Ruth at 182.5, Walter Johnson in 2 at 164.5. Cy Young though was 3 at 163.8. And then I'm going to throw out some big stats. The highest full-time position player, highest WAR, is Barry Bonds in fourth at 162.8, and then Willie Mays at 156.2.
Barry Bonds was my only modern guess.
So modern guess, would you? So obviously Mike Trout is the best player in this generation. What do you think? He is at 73.9 WAR throughout his career at the moment.
Does WAR like accumulate? Like,
Yeah, so
okay,
it's an additive stat.
Okay, that's why I was like, wait, what?
He's usually around like 9 or 10 games a year.
I assumed it was average WAR per year based on career. Okay, I get it. So it's longevity.
Total.
Yeah, that's why like Lou Gehrig would.
Cal Ripken would have been good then.
Trout's at 73.9. Where do you think he's going to land? There's a lot of projections.
Where he's going to land when he's done?
They're projecting him at 121.7, so not even close to where the.
Oh, I don't think he will. I think the problem is, even with him, he's missed good chunks of games.
Yeah.
And you really need to have a super long career. I mean, Babe Ruth played till he was almost fucking 40.
Yeah.
Like,
20 plus.
And he was playing against like plumbers. That this was their second job.
He will be the number one modern day guy. I think Roger Clemens is up there.
Albert Pujols has got to be up there.
Pujols is not as high as you think.
Cal Ripken?
He'll be around like 100.
Well, Albert Pujols is not a good defender either, which also plays a little into it.
So A-Rod and Roger Clemens are kind of up there at the 120 range as well.
Wow. Good to know. Cy Young third, okay.
Cy Young third, Babe Ruth number 1, and then Cody Bellinger. I was gonna say how many father-son duos.
8 with them, yeah.
But that I couldn't even find out who the 8 were. I just saw the stat.
Yeah, I know of a couple, but
yeah, I thought a little Yankees trivia for myself, and then a little baseball. There you go.
Yeah, perfect. So that's Nick's trivia of the week. Next time we'll probably try to lead off with that. I think people will be enjoying that. I think the last thing I just want to talk about real quick, guys, before we wrap this up, fantasy league matchups. How you guys feeling? It's week 8 in our league. Currently, I'm in first at 5-2. The commish also 5-2, third place because of points, and Libs is 4-3 right now in fifth.
I'm glad I get to go up against Rick this week, which is, I mean, it's no easy win. I almost just lost to Paulie, who was 0-6. But I think I should be able to handle Rick this week even without Mixon. But we'll see. Who the fuck knows?
You have a good depth this week. Going up against Savannah, a very solid team up and down. Ronald Jones, I'm worried about, is going to go off. Metcalf's probably going to have a good game since Lockett had a good one last time. She has Wentz over Dallas. She has the good backup for the bye week people that's going to do it. I don't know if I get it. Lamar Jackson, my star guy. Do I start Lamar Jackson this week or do I go with Matt Ryan? That's my.
Oh, you got 2 hours to make that decision.
I know. 2 hours, but Carolina, you never know.
I take your stud. Keep Lamar in.
I'm going to take Lamar.
Start your studs.
Yeah.
Start your studs. I think I actually lose this week, but we'll see how it works out.
I'm playing Bill this week, and I guess I'll ask you guys this question real quick. Bill is trying to trade me his bye week players this week to beat me. He's made it very clear. He's offered me DeAndre Hopkins and Chase Edmonds for Devontae Adams. I'm very tempted, but I don't know if I'm going to do it.
You're in first. You can handle losing a week.
Well, one, I can handle losing a week. I'm not worried about losing this week, especially now that I see Michael Thomas is going to play.
It's your thought of, do you think DeAndre Hopkins is better than... Or it's actually not even that.
It's Chase Edmonds.
What do you think Chase Edmonds is going to do?
I think Chase Edmonds is going to have a great few weeks. He might even be great all year, and that's the risk that I don't know if I'm willing to take. My biggest issue is that in 3 leagues, I have Murray, Hopkins, and Edmonds. Or this would make 3. In 2 other leagues, I have this combo already. Yep. I have Murray in our league. I have to then add Hopkins, Edmonds, puts me all in on Arizona, which is fine. They're a very good offense, and I think all these guys that we're talking about are very good. But
one bad game in the playoffs,
I'm fucked.
Yep.
And across the board.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Devontae Adams is a fucking stud. We've seen this already. So, like, I just... Very good trade offer, but I don't think I'm going to do it.
I figured you wouldn't. I told him that you wouldn't, and then I'm hoping Bill doesn't make another stupid trade and give you more players.
Oh,
to trade you.
You know what? You know what was hilarious?
Either
He offered
way.
me Kareem Hunt on a handshake deal for the following week. So this week I wouldn't get Kareem Hunt, but after I play Bill, then he'll just give me Kareem Hunt for whoever the fuck I want. Maybe my kicker.
Collusion.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he wanted to do. So it's kind of wild. All right, guys. Well, I think we covered everything. Just to do a quick review, our A+ matchups of the week are I have New Orleans Saints -4.5. Libs has the Tennessee Titans -5.5, and Cometa has the Tampa Bay Bucks -10.5 points. I think for record we have the Survivor picks. I'm taking Tennessee in our big pool. Libs also taking Tennessee. Nick,
Yep.
you're taking
I'm taking Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Okay, so I think we're consistently confident in 3 or 4 games this week. And I don't know, anything else, guys?
Should be fun.
The Falcons are going to lose tonight. I can already see it. I won one. I got money on them, but I can just see the disappointment coming.
Yep. Yeah, welcome to the club. It's a good club to be on, but this is the time we want that. We want to bring that
Yeah.
And great. Nick will be super jovial to work with tomorrow morning. It's going to be excellent.
Yeah, get another first-round pick who can't play more than 2 games. Thanks. Appreciate that.
That's a defensive end. We're going with a good Falcons team that will probably win 4 games in a row.
So you're in fairy tale land, I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I don't know if you made it this far, but if you have, I appreciate you listening. We'll be back next week to review all the games, and we'll start looking at early lines, maybe do a little fantasy recap with some injuries. And, thanks for coming in. Remember to smash the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. Ring the bell, subscribe, do whatever you can. Share it with your friends. Have a good one. Thanks.
See you.